Is a more detailed troubleshooting video for the lightsaber earrings. So when they arrive, they're going to look something like this with a little piece of tape holding the second O-ring in place during transit. And so you're going to go ahead and remove this completely off. Okay. And then what you're going to do is I'm going to explain the different parts of the light before I go on to explaining, so it'll help. Here is a light that's actually an earring, sorry, that's been broken into pieces just for showing and demonstrating. But this is your acrylic portion that's got some stainless steel fixed to it. And what the process of putting these together is these two are glued together like this. Okay, so this is the non-lighting component and this is the lighting component, and within the light itself there's a little lid. So the lid is just this upper tiny little piece. So when you're twisting, the twisting that you want to do is going to be like this in this component alone, not at all in this piece, because that's where the glue seam is. So excuse me, I'm trying to get the camera to focus. So sometimes when they arrive, you can actually do a hard reset if you're having trouble turning them on by completely removing the lid. The batteries sometimes will be lodged inside like that. And then this is the light component. The light emitting diode is there. So we're going to set this down. I'm just going to go over this bit. This is the casing and the light is in there. See? So this is the part that lights up and the casing. And then you're going to be really careful of this little light because that's the part that lights up. And these little prongs on the side, the little notches, are what have to make contact with this metal casing in order for it to light up. So first of all, just kind of look in there and make sure that there you go, set that in there. So I'm going to set that down. And then on this piece, we're going to try, and sometimes customers have issues with the lights getting stuck because of the plastic casing. It's not necessary to remove the plastic casing, but as you can see, they're a little bit lodged in there. So and this is perfectly normal. It's just part of the manufacturing process of how they're made. You can go ahead and grab something. You can use, I'm using tweezers, like the kind that I use on my eyebrows or to remove splinters, and just kind of grab them and try to bring them all out. And there's a little rubber donut in there. You don't want to lose that because these are activated by a tightening pressure mechanism. And so if you lose that little donut, it might be difficult to turn on. These come with a little plastic casing. It's not necessary for them to work, but it helps keep the batteries together, so I'd leave them on there. And it's really important to remember the direction in which they go. So I've got everything a little bit turned around here, so I'm just going to demonstrate. The flat part here that has a little, and I can't get it to focus on the camera properly, but there's a flat portion of the battery here. Let's see if I can flip it. There you go. And there's like a part that has a little black kind of notched ring. That is not the top of the battery. This is. So just to reorient here, we're going to take this little donut here, and the flat part with the numbers etched into them, it's going to go up against the little black ring. You make sure you're putting them in the right way or they'll never turn on. Okay, so that part's fine. But now what you're going to do is you're going to take this other little bit that we talked about before, and you're going to screw those together. So I'm just going to go ahead and demonstrate that on this other earring here to make it less complicated. You're going to use this little connecting jump ring that connects to the hook. Okay, there, we're focused. You're going to use this as a lever or a fulcrum to kind of twist. That's where you'll grab from. And you want to, again, as I mentioned in the other video, you want to hold from here because, again, remember, you're not twisting this part and this part. You don't want to do that because there's a glue joint here. What you want to twist is hold up higher, and you want to twist just this top part here from this ring, just the lid. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate again. I'm going to remove this lid completely. I'm trying to do it in a way that doesn't cover up the camera. See, you've got the little donut there, and then you've got your batteries. These actually did come out easily. And there you go, there's your lighting component, okay? So just like look in there and make sure there's not any fuzz or anything weird that could interfere with this little chip touching to the edges of the ring, because that, if there's a little glue or junk stuck in the edges, sometimes that can interfere. If a little glue ball moves into an area that it wasn't before, that could be why it flickers or why it's not turning on, but that shouldn't be there. I check them beforehand for that. Before shipment. And so then again, this notched part here and the flat part above, you're going to put this little circular notched part in here, face down, the flat part facing up that has the etched letters in it, and then make sure that little donut's in there, and then go ahead and cap it. And again, this is kind of, we'd be doing a reset if we took the lids off. And then, excuse me while I grab a hold of this, they're so tiny. All right, and so I'm grabbing it from the ring here, holding it above the glue seam, and then twisting. And see how many twists it takes? It takes probably like 7 to 8 turns to get to a point where there's like some pressure being exerted. This donor also likes to slip under sometimes, so I take my nail or something sharp and like slide it up so that it's not interfering with my ability to twist. Sometimes it gets caught, so that can be an issue as well. So holding above the glue seam again, and then just twisting here using this little ring as a fulcrum or a lever. And then here we go. Try and move my hands out of the way so you can see. Holding here, twisting. There we go. And then it should go on. But do you see that took quite a bit of twisting? And sometimes you have to experiment with it. It's just the nature of the light component and how it's manufactured. It's so tiny so that it works with these earrings. And then untwist. So see, but see how loose you can get it before it even comes off? I'm doing like maybe 7 to 8 turns, 10 turns all the way off. Same thing, taking it off. And sometimes if you've tightened too tight, you might have gone past. So you want to take it off and then just kind of reset and start over. Another troubleshooting tip is very unlikely, but at times potentially the battery could have turned on in transit. So the batteries might just be out. There might be absolutely nothing wrong with the earring. It just needs new batteries. That shouldn't happen. On rare occasion, it's a possibility because I do try to loosen them a fair amount before shipping them. So see, loosened, and then I'm tightening, and then you start to feel some resistance. And again, I'm holding from here above the glue seam, not here, here. And then here's the ring, and then tighten on, loosen off. Here, tighten on, loosen off. So hopefully that's been helpful. Message me if you have any additional questions or concerns, and we'll make sure you're fully satisfied. Thanks.